Hi guys, it's Jamie from the future, and in today's video I'm going to be using up strippy scraps to make little page decorations for journals in 5 different styles. Now let's go to Jamie in the past to see how this was done. Today we're going to do a little bit of a scrap busting challenge of my own. So I have a lot of strips of paper where I've cut things down, and I've got here buttons, and I've made this little flower shape and put a button inside it. Let's start with a button, because this is not necessarily fabric or anything, but it's sort of a glossy wood. I'm going to start with a silicone glue. This is Fabri-Tac, but any brand would do, and it just is going to help with the initial gluing down. All I'm going to do is place these strips in a sort of a clock shape, and obviously we need glue, so always put in the center strip, the strip into the center, so you can see that eventually this center will get quite bulky. I'm going to try and do strips of a similar size, but it's not essential. Let's just put this one here. Now, because you're doing this upside down, the exciting thing is you don't really know how it's going to turn out until you get there. So just grab different strips, pop them down, and keep building this up until every single little gap between these spokes is filled. Now, I am absolutely sure you do not want to sit there while I do this, so I am going to come back when I have filled all of this. As this dries, what you can do is take any scrap of paper and just quickly cut out a circle. As you can see, we've got lots and lots of scraps piling up there, and you may want a flattish base plate, I suppose you'd call it, in the center. Stick that down, and then it should hold a lot of that together as everything dries, as well as giving you this base plate. This is now dry, so let's turn it over and see how it looks. The next thing to do is take something that you can see through, for example a glass jar, or in my case some sellotape, and try to get it so that your button is central to the circle that you're going to draw. You're just going to try to draw a line, which I am failing to do beautifully. Okay, I found a jar. It's not perfectly easy to see through, but it's not too bad. Let's try drawing this line again. And taking the scissors, we are going to create some waste. Now, you're not going to get perfection here. In fact, I'm meant to be cutting inside this line and I'm not. And you do need to hold it because it will move slightly. So as you go round, grab the next set of stuff and hold it still as you can, and just, I don't know, attempt to do this relatively carefully. See, here I've got a gap which I didn't want, but it happens, it's fine. The reason for cutting inside the line, or trying to, is so that you don't get a black line around it. However, this is easily solved if you want to ink those edges, and then inking the edges would hide any line showing through. And now what you've got is a slightly lumpy there, but generally kind of stripy flower. Well, I think it's kind of cute and cool. Right, let's try one other idea, which would be taking one I did earlier in Blue Peter fashion, if you're British. And I do want to try and create a bigger one, so let's see if I can do this a bit better this time. Wish me luck. I think that's central. I'm going to stand up again just to make sure I'm seeing that correctly. And now I'm going to stick my head in the way of the camera. I think sticking my head in front of the camera and having to edit that bit out of the video actually helped me draw a better circle this time. This is an experiment. Well, it's all an experiment. Everything I do is an experiment. But I'm going to take my fancy scissors and see if it is possible and what it would look like if we cut it with the fancy scissors. We may not get a... Ooh, where there's a lot of layers, that's a bit tough. May not get quite such a nice circle. I don't think these are designed for cutting through hundreds of layers. And last bit, come on. Yes. And that's one with a fancy edge, which I think actually, apart from that little bit of, which I could just trim off, ink. I think actually the fancy edge one is, yeah, and what you could do actually is just go in with some of your top ones and take them down a little bit. And then you'd have different length petals. That's quite a cute idea. Just thought of that one. And then maybe take that one down. Yeah, so now we've created layers and also a fancy trim edge. Yeah, I quite like that one. Don't have to create those layers. I think I actually prefer my bright last minute idea of using the fancy scissors than the first one of using the straight scissors. I did try this earlier with a smaller one before coming on camera. I will just find that for you. This one. And if you wanted to, obviously you could put something in the center of this. Let me just get this out of the way. You could just get some gemstones or something and put those in the center. We could do it with one of these and see what that would look like. Or you could even take a big button and then find a smaller one and add a second button. That's quite cute as well. So let's do that with that one. We just play. This is what I keep saying. Just play. And let's find a little gemstone. Oh, I've got a little pinky one to get it central. There, and just leave that one to dry. Before you glue all of these on, if you wanted to, when it's just one layer, you could sew through those holes and create a stitch effect in the center. Other things you could do, if you don't like the looseness, you could secure them to a circular template and then just cut round. It's sort of a strange shape, that one. So that's another way you could do it, is to secure them all down to a circle and then add your strips. Another way you could do it is to do the same idea, secure it all down to a circle, but then cut the circle into a flower shape. So that's sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5 different looks from the same concept and different sizes. Obviously just use different templates for your final cutout circle. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It's a way to show support for this baby channel. It's now been going 2 months, and thank you to everyone who's already subscribed and helped the channel grow. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And if you have anything you'd like to see, don't forget to comment. Press like if you enjoyed this or like the idea of using up some of these scraps, and I will see you next time. Bye.